LeMays, remember the LeMays lived in the big house on the corner? Yeah, there were a bunch of them. And it was Bobby LeMay, and I remember there was an older sister, and there was Patricia, we called her Titi, something like that. And
they used to look after kids.
They did? I didn't know that. You know, I must have lived on a cloud because there are a lot of things that I don't remember being part of. I remember the barn, we used to go up on the roof of the barn and slide down, and there was a hole in the barn, in the roof.
That roof, well, I can't believe this, but it's showing how it happened.
What?
You know that barn?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Lou Smith,
Yes, the cop, he was a policeman.
he tried to chase you off.
Remember, I knew there was a cop involved. It was Lou Smith.
Yeah,
He tried to chase me off?
yeah.
Somebody must have complained that we were up on the roof of this old barn, garage barn.
The bottom was in good shape.
Yeah, it was, but there was a hole in it.
That's
And if
how
you
we got
slid-
up there.
If you slid, is that how we got up?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I just remember sliding down and trying to avoid that hole so we wouldn't fall through the hole. And we would slide down to where there was a little ledge, and then you could drop to the ground, I think.
and Lou Smith.
Lou Smith was chasing me from the, oh, right. Somebody must have complained. And remember Carrie, what was his last name? Carrie what?
Harry Hawthorne.
Carrie Hawthorne. I was going to say Hawthorne, but I thought I was wrong. Carrie Hawthorne and his mother and father lived up on Maple Hill, like the second house up, well, right after LeMay's house. And we really never liked Carrie at all. And he really never played much with us. But one time he was at the bottom of the hill, and a car came by and it hit him a little bit. It didn't hurt him, but it knocked him, I guess it was on a bike or something. And we went running up to his mother's house. We wanted to scare the hell out of her. I guess we were yelling, Carrie's been hit by a car. Oh, God. And when we burst into the house, there was stairs going up. And she came running out of her bedroom with Lou Smith, the cop, running down the stairway. She was scared as hell. There was nothing wrong with Carrie. He came walking home. But here was she having an affair with Lou Smith.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was an eye-opener. Oh my God. Oh, I guess her husband must have been, maybe he traveled. I never saw him. I only knew the mother. We were terrible. We wanted to scare her. We didn't want to scare her so much as we wanted to be big deals. We wanted to be a big, Carrie's been hit, Carrie's been hit. Oh, jeez.
You know what happened to Carrie?
No.
Carrie Hawthorne?
What? They didn't live there long.
He ended up going in the Navy.
He did.
He was on submarines,
Oh.
and he fell down the hatch one time.
He did? Did you run to his mother saying Carrie fell down the hatch? Oh.
Yeah. Carrie Hawthorne.
Yeah, they didn't live there long. And there were two sisters who lived, I think they were two sisters. I think they lived in that house for a while. Because opposite was Knight's backyard. They had a gate back there, back of Knight's.
Yeah.
Where the stone wall went up Maple Hill for a ways. It seemed to me there was a gate there. You could go in the back part.
They had a garage.
Yeah. Why was Lou Smith chasing me? He wanted me to get off the roof, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you weren't the only bad kid around. I must have been a bad kid too.
Who are those two teachers who lived up there?
Yeah, they were probably like Ruthie's age, and Ruthie was 7 years older than me, so she was 9 years older than you.
On Halloween, we had to get dressed up. They go up there and they set us down at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
We each get a donut and
Yeah, that, oh God, you're reminding me of things I had completely forgotten. I'll be darned. I think they always had pretty dresses, it seemed to me. And that was probably in the early 30s, so, must have been like flapper times, I don't know. What do you think, Marguerite? The early 30s, they must have had dresses like flapper type style.
I don't know. Yeah, the
Because
20s.
They always had nice dresses. I remember one had pointy hemline, and it was very fashionable.
Yeah, my mother's wedding dress had those pointed
Right, yeah.
things on it. Yeah.
Do you remember the graveyard by the church?
Yes. Oh, no, I don't remember it. Oh, you're reminding me of things I have completely forgotten.
If you, when we walked to school,
Oh, yeah, that was up, that's where Dorothea and Ingwell, mother used to live up next to that graveyard. Years and years and years before they moved to Central or Clinton or whatever the street was they lived on. Either before or after. I think it was after. I
but
think
then
that's-
there was another graveyard before you go up that little incline,
Yeah,
and there was they had a black congregation,
I don't
but
remember.
it wasn't that church.
No.
It was a church that,
Oh, wait a minute, you're talking about on Park Avenue?
yeah.
That was a colored church, it still is.
Yeah, we used to stop there and listen to them sing.
Yeah, and there was, I remember a wrought iron fence, there was a big lot, a big piece of land next to the church. That little white church is still there, and it's still an African-American church. And then way, way up in the back, there was an old house up there, a big old house. Now, there's a medical building in the front as you drive up there.
Catch this one, I'll tell me where this is. You go past that colored church
Yeah,
and you turn right.
Yeah.
back, and you go back out into the old house,
yeah,
and then you go through the woods. And out in the middle of the woods there was another big house, and there was a Girl Scout camp.
yes, yes, yes. No, wait a minute now. You had to go down Mill Lane. You went down, when you're on Park Avenue where we lived, you went up to Mill Lane before you got to that white church, and you went down Mill Lane as if you're going to New York Avenue, and you turned left up into this old wooded area, and there was a Girl Scout camp. There was a building there, like a camp cabin or something. And the Girl Scout troops used to go up there for, I don't know, picnic or an outing. That's all houses now. That's all, lots and lots of houses.
Huh.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that. There's so many things you're reminding me of. Yeah. And do you remember when you go up, we walk to school, and on the right-hand side, just before you got to the little white church where the African Americans were, there was a small house up on the hillside there, and there were 3 old maids who lived up there, and 2 of them were school teachers. Miss Atkins and Miss Andrews, and I don't know the other woman's name. And they had an apple tree in their yard that had old, delicious apples, old-fashioned, not the kind you get in the store now that are phony and red. These were original, old-fashioned, delicious apples. And at Halloween, they would give us an apple. We would go up there and, I don't know if it was Halloween or when it was, but when the apples were ripe, they would give us 1 apple.
Yeah.
They were delicious apples. And, oh, you're gonna remember the name, but I can't. The guy with all the little kids, they all had red hair. What was that?
Phyllis.
What was that name?
Philicus, he said.
Philicus, right, you remember? I remember, I don't know if you told me the story, but it was just a funny story. You made it up if you did it. Philicus taught the kids, no elbows on the table. And you told me, he took a knife and zoom and cut all the little elbows are sitting on the table. I believed something like that, and so that, for a long time, I used to picture Mr. Phillips cutting those damn elbows off the table. No elbows on the table. And there were about 3 or 4 of those little Phillips kids, and they all had curly red hair. Most of them were red hair.
I was down at Harbor Inn
Yeah,
having a drink one time when I was home from Alaska.
yeah. You saw him? No.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 of them, and pretty soon this guy come over. He looked like a tank,
Really?
and he says, "Cassius, my name was Ray Richmond." And I said, "That all depends who are you?" He says, I won't tell you now, I'll make you guess." And I says, "I don't know, this guy looked like a monkey wrestler." And he said, you don't recognize me?" I said, "No, I don't think I do." He said, "Oh," I said, he said, you used to chase me to school." And I said, "No." He said, "Yeah." And it was the Phillips kid.
Huh?
He was a plumber,
Oh.
built like an ape.
Well,
And he told me, he said, he bought me a drink, and he said, but he said something about, I would have never got to school if it hadn't been for you."
were you chasing him all the way to school?
Yeah, I was walking real fast, and every time I catch up with him, I kick him in the ass.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah, I think,
So he bought me a drink, and he wanted to know how everybody was. And his 2 sisters,
yeah.
they married pretty well.
Oh, really? Yeah. I can't remember their name except Phillips, that was their last name. But she was about my age, approximately. And I remember they had curly hair, and I think it was red, or auburn.